In preparation for the upcoming season, I'm doing profiles on each one of the players to get a better understanding on who they are and what they're going to bring to the Orlando Magic this upcoming season. This video is on the player a lot of podcasts are talking about as the X factor for the Magic this season, Anthony Black. This is the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan. I'm Edwin Valentine, and I want to thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. You got to do the normal YouTube thing, so hit that like, share this video, drop a comment below letting me know what you think AB is going to do this upcoming season. And if you're one to do so, hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I produce, as well as joining the Orlando Magic Nation community. If you're new to my player profiles, basically what I'm doing is I'm acting as if I'm scouting the player. So I start off with a little bit of intel just to better understand where they've been prior to coming to the Magic. Then I look at their stats from last season just to kind of have an understanding on what foundation they've laid for this upcoming season. And lastly, I go through the film to make sure that what the stats are saying is accurate. So let's start off with a little bit of intel for Anthony Black. I will call him AB moving forward. Anthony Black is a point guard, shoots predominantly with his right hand. He's 6'7", so he's rather tall for a point guard, and weighs 198 pounds. He was born January 20th, 2004 in Duncanville, Texas. In his 1 year at university, he went to Arkansas, and in his 36 games with them, he averaged about 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and about a block per game. And then with the 6th pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select Anthony Black. So he's been with us for 2 seasons. He's played a bit sparingly in that first season, but in the second season, his role really started to expand. And in his 147 games, he's averaged a little more than 7 points, averaged about 3 rebounds and 2 assists per game, as well as over 1 stock per game. So now if we look at his stats from last season, we see in his 78 games, he averaged about 24 minutes per game, a little over 9 points, about 3 rebounds and 3 assists per game with about 2 stocks per game. That second line there in the traditional stats are his stats per 100 possessions. They do that just to kind of even out everybody's stats so that even those that don't get a lot of playing time, we can kind of see their stats. If we go to the advanced splits, we see that the Orlando Magic, while he was on the court, had an offensive rating of 106.2 and a defensive rating of 107.1 for a net rating of negative 0.9. Now, this isn't an individual stat. This is a stat for the collective 5 while he's on the court. But as many Magic players, as you've seen over the course of all my player profiles, they ended up with a negative net rating just because our offense played so poorly last year. Those last 2 stats below are from the website Cleaning the Glass. And what Cleaning the Glass does is it takes all of their stats and they basically put them into percentiles of their position group. As we look here, it says combo guard as the position. That's because he played both point guard and shooting guard. Over the course of his 78 games, he had a usage of 20.8%, which is in the 51st percentile of combo guards. His point per shot attempt was 105.1, is in the 36th percentile. His assist percentage is 20%, which is 54th percentile. So in that respect, that doesn't look great, especially if you're a point guard. The assist to usage ratio, since his assists aren't very high, is 0.96, which also puts him in the 53rd percentile. And his turnover percentage of 15.2% is in the 16th percentile. So we'll see that in the film. And to finish off, the stats at the bottom are his defensive and rebounding percentages. He's in the 95th percentile in block percentage at 1.4%, steal percentage in the 72nd percentile at 2%. A foul percentage, he fouled a lot, just like the rest of the Magic players on defense. He's in the 23rd percentile at 3.6%. The offensive rebounding percentage on the field goals is 53% with 3% of the rebounds. Defensive rebounding percentage is 10.1% in the 63rd percentile. And if we look at the team efficiency in 4 factors, I've explained this on previous profiles, but I'll just do a quick one on here. Basketball is obviously a very difficult game to play when you're at this level. You have to be tall, you have to have good hand-eye coordination, good agility, all that good stuff. But when it comes to stats, it basically can be broken down into 4 factors, and that's what they call there the 4 factors. So basically, what kind of shots are you getting? And that's what effective field goal percentage is trying to capture. If you're turning the ball over and ending your possession prematurely, that's a percentage there. If you're able to rebound and keep possession or make sure that you end the possession defensively with a rebound, and if you're getting to the free throw line for those extra points. So those are the 4 factors. Now, technically, you're looking at it both offensively and defensively. So it's really 8 factors in the long run. So if you're looking at the difference here, he's at -1 difference, and that's looking at his points per 100 possessions offensively and defensively. So his offensive points per 100 possessions was at 109.2, which is on the 22nd percentile. The effective field goal percentage was 50.8% in the 14th percentile. In the turnover percentage, they were at 14.9% in the 38th percentile. Offensive rebounding, because we shot so poorly, was pretty good at 28.7% in the 57th percentile. And we got to the free throw line because we really couldn't shoot at 22.6. It puts him in the 94th percentile. Defensively, the Magic's point per 100 possession was 110.1 while he was on the court. That puts him in the 88th percentile. The effective field goal percentage was middle of the pack in the 50th percentile on the dot with 54.6%. The Magic's defense wasn't predicated on holding the other team's field goal percentage down. What their second ranked defense did basically was just take the ball away. So as we see, the turnover percentage while he was on the court was 17.5%, which is in the 95th percentile. Offensive rebounding, which for us on defense would mean defensive rebounding, was we were able to keep them at a 26.6% offensive rebounding percentage, which put him in the 76th percentile. And we put guys on the free throw line a lot, again, because of all of our fouling, at 21.6, and that put him in the 21st percentile. Now to look at some of the ways he was the most effective. For him in isolation, he scored 1.06 points per possession, which put him in the 83rd percentile when it came to isolation. As you're going to see that on the film, that because of his height, he's able to really just get past most guys and just finish at the rim. Hopefully, he's going to get better at that, and we'll see that in coming up here. But that's something that once he is able to be more aggressive and take on guys one-on-one a bit more, then you're going to see that percentile likely will go up. And also on the dribble handoffs, he had a 1.02 points per possession, which put him in the 66th percentile if you round up on that. Now, the frequencies weren't very, very high, but we will see that hopefully he's going to be more aggressive this year. And that's something that he's talked about already at Media Day. Now, how he scored. So we look at the scoring splits. If we look, he shot the majority of his shots from 2-point range. Looking at it, if we round up, 69% of his field goal attempts were from 2-point range. 54% of his points were from 2-point range. Only about 5% from the mid-range, 25% from 3-point land, 18% on fast breaks. So that's something that we'll see. He shoots the majority of his shots from inside the arc, which might change this year just because by the end of last season, he was starting to shoot the threes very, very well. And as you talked about at the Media Day, he's been really focusing on his shot. So that percentage might go more to 60-40, let's say, by the end of this season. So we'll see. So how he shot last year at the rim, shooting at 63%. It's not too shabby. Again, with his length, he kind of just needs to kind of stretch out from the free throw line and be able to shoot the finger rolls. You'll see that in the film coming up. From 3 to 10 feet, also on there, about 41%. It's not great, but again, it's something that hopefully once he gets a little bigger and stronger over the course of his career, going into year 3 now, he might be able to finish a little bit better closer to the rim like that. Then from 10 to 16 feet, didn't have many shots there, 29%. And from 16 to the 3-point line, 37%. So he shot a little bit better on there. But again, low frequency of shots, only 35 shots over the course of the entire year. And his 3-point shot ended up being at about 32%. But from the corner, he shot much better. And we'll talk about that during the film. Now let's go to his film. We're going to start off with his driving because, as we've seen in isolation and with dribble handoffs, he's really able to attack the rim, which is what you want from AB. You want aggression. He's talked about that specifically, that he's looking to be more aggressive this year, and that's something that he's apparently worked on. So we shall see, because that hopefully will be the case. He puts his little shoulder into the guy and is able to fade. You'll see this 2 or 3 times. Here's another one. Whoop. Just kind of move him out the way. And with his height, he's going to be able to jump over these guys. So here's another one. Bumps off Marcus Smart there. Same thing. Shuffled his feet a little bit there and missed that. But that's the range that we're hoping that he gets better at, especially if he's still going to shoot the majority of his shots from within the 3-point line, then he has to be able to hit the mid-range jumpers better. You see, not too bad. Now the ones that 10 to 16 feet are going to be the ones here, like a lot of the little floaters. I think that's going to be what he needs to get better at. When it comes to the jump shot, it's not horrible, but it's these little floaters he needs to start hitting better. That's a nice little creative shot. Again, you're going to see this from him and Jalen actually in reviewing the film. They do a really good job of getting those little floaters up. It's something that it didn't feel like during the season was something they were doing very often, but in reviewing their season, it happened a lot. And you see some of those shots, like they go up, but they're not really aggressive. And I think that's something that he needs to work on. Is just again doing it with purpose. I think some of these guys, they just so talented that they've always been so good that sometimes he just thinks that his talent is going to win out, which a lot of the times it is going to, but sometimes it's not. So when you see like these little half-assed shots at the rim when it came to like his little floaters, like he's not doing it with purpose. He's not doing it with aggression. So hopefully that's something that he did mention already, that that's something that he wanted to work on, but hopefully it actually happens. Now with the driving, he's so tall, he's so fast, he's able to finish over contact, able to finish over size because he's tall. Now it's got to be probably annoying for him, for everybody to tell him that he needs to be more aggressive. But he needs to be more aggressive because once he's able to go downhill like this, then there's not really a lot of guys that are going to be able to stop him. That's over Chet here. You can even post up. Well, this is on TJ McConnell, so it's just that's not fair. Nice little spin again against Zubac. He's able to get to the rim, so he's pretty creative as well. I think that's again what's the most frustrating when you see how he can easily with right and left finish at the basket, that he just doesn't take the ball more often, especially last year when we needed so much more scoring from the bench and he just wasn't really being super aggressive. If only we could have put Cole Anthony's mentality into AB's body, but it's his progression. He's in his 3rd year. This should be the year that he makes his leap. Look at that, over Porzingis, over Giannis. Like he can finish. Like that's not something. Now we're gonna see his threes. Like I mentioned before, he only shot 32% over the course of the entire season. But starting at the beginning of February until the end of the season, he shot 39% if you round up from 3-point land in general. So that's something that over the course of the last, I think it was 31 games, with him shooting such a high percentage, you can see that his confidence was starting to raise. And that's why he played so well all the way up through the play-in game, because he was really starting to hit that shot. And now, if he's been working even harder this past offseason on it, then I think that's something that is just going to vault him into six man of the year discussions, different articles about him being the X factor for the Magic. And he's likely going to start some games unless, again, the Magic keep him on the bench the whole way and kind of put the third string into the starting lineup, because Desmond does get injured every so often. Jalen, we know, might not start the beginning of the season. So I think he's going to get some opportunity, likely to start. And if he doesn't start, then he's always going to be that main cog off the bench. And when Mo comes back, maybe they can share the responsibility of all the scoring. But really, if he's aggressive as they say he's going to be, and with Tyus being the main ball handler for the bench unit, then he's going to be able to spot up from the corners and hit those shots. Because even though he only shot 32% overall for the entire season, from the corners, he shot about 40%. Now, most of that was on the right side, the left side, not so much, but still, in the end, when you shoot 40% from the corners, then that's something that we need to shoot more of. Like, again, the majority of his three pointers were above the break, where he shot only 30%, 29% ish. So that obviously is going to skew your numbers one way or another. But because he shoots so well from the corners, hopefully this year he starts off better, because last year it started off so poorly up until February. That's why his number was so low. That if he's able to get off to a good start and that ball just keeps rolling and he gets all that confidence, then the sky's the limit for AB. So here is his 3-pointers from last year. Like I said, the left side, not as great as his right side. Even though he hit one of the biggest threes of the year, here it is. Winner. I think it was really great to see both AB and Tristan hit really big 3-pointers last year, because I think that should get them more confidence to be able to shoot those shots if requested or if needed in big spots. And as we saw in Eurobasket in the final, Tristan is up for the moment. Again, above the break, he only shot about 30%. So again, that always just kind of gets at me. Like, why are we doing something that we're not going to be as successful about? Now, again, I know they are leaving them wide open, as you see. Look at these shots; they're wide open. No one even thinks about coming out. And unfortunately, he doesn't hit them. Now he has to be able to hit those to get the respectable closeout. At least have somebody come in your vicinity, so then again you can attack that closeout and use your length to get all the way to the basket. Again, from the right side, he shot much better in the year. He's hitting those threes. Another one. There you go. Another one. Late in the shot clock. Open, not open. He was just killing it there. Now, as the primary ball handler for the second unit last year, he had his up and downs, right? He's a second year player. So we're just building a foundation, like I talked about in Tristan's player profile. You're building a foundation, especially for these young guys. So for him to have the ball as much as he did last year with an expanded role, I think it was a good thing for him overall. Now we have Tyus coming in as likely the primary ball handler in the second unit. So AB is likely going to play a lot more off ball, which again, once he starts shooting and if he's able to shoot at a higher percentage, then that's going to be great. Otherwise, if Tyus is going to be the ones in the corner or shooting threes, because Tyus has a better 3-point percentage, then AB can be the primary ball handler, or even Tristan can be the primary ball handler at different times, right? We have such versatility on our bench that at least there's so much potential for versatility when we have our guys hopefully going to step up into bigger roles with Tristan and AB starting to expand their games a bit more. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but we're going to have some film here on the assists and the turnovers that AB had last year. So in tight spaces here, you can see, again, his length is just hard to handle for a lot of defenses. And he has pretty good in tight passing. Little pocket passes there on the bigs rolling. Each one of the guys getting into the action. It's a show and go. Able to hit the cut man. There you go, another cutter for Franz. Nice cut for JI. So yeah. So I think that's something that hopefully he's going to be able to get better at decision making. But he's got nice passes throughout the season. There'd be one or two that you're like, ooh, that's a nice pass. And he's able to spray out to shooters as well. Now, he was drafted likely to be the primary ball handler of the second unit at first, and then eventually maybe start with Jalen. But I think they've pivoted away from that with the Desmond Bane trade and also bringing in Tyus. So now I think he's going to be more of a secondary ball handler. But as we see, when he's making quick decisions, he has okay court vision. And he's able to get the ball to his guys. Now, this is the bad. Sometimes the decision making isn't great, and also not seeing where the defenses are kind of baiting him into different coverages. Like there was a guy that was right there, so he's throwing interception. So I don't know if it's like a quarterback that's just staring down his receiver. Different miscommunications. Here's another one. Whee! So this is something that with time, this is just something that will get better the longer he plays with these guys. So there's, as we see, a lot of these are to like Mo or to Goga. It just takes time. And sometimes the passes are a little too cute like that is just gonna go off their hands because they're maybe not expecting it in that spot. Especially when you see a big kind of just point up and you get the ball on the ground, that's a bit difficult for them to catch. Now the handles, I mentioned it a couple times for a couple guys, so hopefully Coach Shamgod is really going to get the handles tighter for a lot of the guys. Now defensively, we already know what he is. Defensively, he's a terror with assists, or sorry, with steals as well as blocks. His length is ridiculous. His instincts defensively are great. His quick hands, like he's perfect for his position. Again, as either covering point guards because he almost envelops them, or also just shooting guards. He's tall enough to and sturdy enough to be able to handle all of them. So he'll pick your pocket. He'll read the pass. He does a little bit of everything. Him and Jalen, if that would have been the starting lineup at one point, what a pain in the neck that would be for the starting guards. You're just picking people clean. Digging down on that one. Again, help defense. He's a good communicator. And then with his height, you're just going to see he has blocked multiple jump shots throughout the course of the season. Normally, you see more chase down blocks from guards like you'll see in Jalen's player profile, which he'll do occasionally, like that one there. But a lot of them were one on one, or it was on. Ooh, that one's on Tyrese. Yep, that's his new teammate. Ooh, get out of here. Yeah, one on one with a lot of guys, just his length is just going to disrupt them. Another blocked shot on a jumper. There's another one. I don't know. It's got to feel so great when you're like, when you reject a shot and you just get to look at the guy and be like, oh, bro, what were you thinking? And then we end off there. Oh, we got one more. Here's a chase down. Whoop, get out of there. And that's the end of the film on AB. So we already know what kind of a terror he is on defense. We already know that that's something that he brings and he was always going to bring because he was drafted by the Magic. And the Magic, they look for long guys who are able to defend. So he was a no-brainer pick in that year's draft. Now, hopefully the offense is what comes along, which is what they had hoped for so long, but we kept staying in the bottom 10 in the league on offense. So I think bringing in Desmond is going to, and Tyus is going to alleviate that for the Magic. Now, for AB this year, as he's talked about at the media day, that aggression is what he's been working on, his mindset. And that's all I think most people have asked from him because they see the gifts, they see the physical gifts, they see what he can do offensively. And now, especially if his shot actually is a little bit better, even though, again, it was better last year at shooting at about 39% for the last 30 plus games of the season, that's almost half the season. That if he's able to continue that and get better on it here this upcoming season, then I think there's just, again, sky's the limit for him. And then his odds will get better and better and better for the Sixth Man of the Year award. So we'll see what this year has for AB. So drop a comment below. Let me know what you think AB is going to do this year. Is he going to win Sixth Man or will he be like an first team all defense? You let me know. And do the rest of the YouTube thing. Share this video, hit that like, and if you're one to do so, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I'm producing all year long. I want to thank you very much for watching this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. I hope you're having a great day.